squirmy, wormy boar demon. It's so gross, but it's so cool. Nature doesn't scare me, people do. He's a wonderful animal companion. Crap, his name. So cool she's awake. I can die now. My feelings are so unclear. A jelly monster. Hi guys, welcome back to another Nerd Rants video. Today we're talking about another anime thing. It's an anime movie. I've watched technically 3 of those now. So, you know, it's my boyfriend's taking a slave narrative class thing, and so one of the assignments was to watch a bunch of movies about slavery. And so we kind of just did a little, not exactly a marathon, but we got together Friday, Saturday of last week and just watched to watch slave movies. So we got through the keeping room on Friday night and decided, you know what, we want to watch something more wholesome. And so we were looking up Studio Ghibli movies. And of all of those movies, we decided we were gonna watch Princess Mononoke. Which isn't exactly wholesome. It was great though. It was a wonderful movie. I just love that we went, let's watch something wholesome after watching this horrible movie about women being mistreated during the Civil War. Let's watch something wholesome, and we choose Princess Mononoke, which literally has the first scene be a giant squirmy, wormy boar demon running through a forest, literally killing everything it touches. So much more wholesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I will say, they literally only say the title once. Because it's, Wolf Girl. They call her Princess Mononoke once. And then for the rest of the movie, it's San. Because that's what her wolf name is. And that's really the only people who refer to her much. So it's kind of funny that they chose to name the movie after something they call this girl once. I suppose it's a cooler title than calling it San or Wolf Girl. Or Wolf Princess would work. But anyway, that's a random thing I noticed. Yes, this movie is great. I really like this movie. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's like all these forest spirits, and if they get super enraged and let themselves kind of, I don't know, but they can just turn into straight up demons, which it's so gross, but it's so cool. It's literally just a bunch of wriggling, squishy worms sprout across their entire body. It's so cool, but it is really, really gross. Oh man, it's really gross sometimes. Because the main character, first scene is this boar demon, wiggly worm creature running around through the forest, killing everything it touches because demons just spread decay everywhere. Main character has to fight it without touching it, because you touch it, it's gonna basically infect you, and then you're gonna have, that's not good. Don't let a thing that kills everything it touches touch you. So obviously he starts fighting it, and and he can't stop it. So in order to save his people, he gets touched, and so there's just like these slimy, shivery, like worm things wrapped around his arm. Gets him off, and he's got, honestly, cool looking scar. Cool. It looks like a giant burn bruise. It's kind of a mix between a burn and a bruise because it's very purple, but it kind of has a pattern of a burn. But he's basically infected by the demon's curse thing, and so yeah, it slowly kills him. But also, if he gets super pissed, that arm gets super strong, and when it gets super strong, the whole thing wriggles like it's covered in worms again underneath his clothes. Again, super cool. But it's also really gross. Because his whole arm starts writhing in little... I'm not the kind of person who is afraid of bugs or reptiles or nature in general. Nature doesn't scare me. Nature doesn't scare me, people do. But anyway, so yeah, nature, like, it doesn't really gross me out that much. Death and like maggots and all that, but this was kind of gross because this was a person, and you just see his arms start. It was so cool. I'm just gonna keep saying it over and over again. It's so cool, but it was kind of gross looking. But anyway, yeah, he gets basically cursed by the demon, and his only chance is to travel, like, across the entire country in the hopes that he could find some sort of a forest spirit powerful enough to heal the curse. And so he leaves this village. He's straight up the prince of the village and goes, "Hi, boop, I need to leave. Peace out." Leaves on, crap, I can't remember his little elk deer thing's name. It's like Giral or something. Something close to that. But anyway, I love his little mount. It's cool and kind of adorable looking. And is just a great character despite not having speaking parts and just being the animal companion. It's great. He's a wonderful animal companion. Oh. But yeah, travels across the world, fights some samurai, that are attacking a village, which is where we get the, hey, he has powers and his arm does the weird wriggly thing. And he shoots an arrow and chops the guy's head off with an arrow. That's fun. And then we get introduced to, the Ironworks ladies. It's on the tip of my tongue. I think it starts with an E. That's the head Ironworks lady. I just legitimately makes me mad. I can't remember her name. Anyway, we get introduced to her, and she's trying to protect her people as they caravan through the mountains with supplies and such, and get attacked by the wolves. And we get introduced to San, who has a cool furry cape thing with a mask. And she looks great. Everything looks great. Anime is just visually fantastic. There's not a whole lot of situations in anime where I go, that doesn't look great. But, I mean, it does happen. But, for the most part, it's beautiful. Like, why can't my American animation do that? Why can't we have that level of quality? We don't need to match the style. we can keep American style, but like quality. I miss that kind of like 2D basically. I miss 2D animation because we have like Atlantis Lost Empire, Treasure Planet. I mean, that one mixed 3D animation, but they like actually did well with 3D animation. Basically, the only Disney movies that I really, really like my childhood Disney movies, are all 2D animation, and I really, really miss that style. Because I feel like with the 3D animation, they're all starting to kind of look the same style-wise, at least for each studio. They kind of go, okay, we slip into, this is our style. You know, it's our movie because this is the style of animation. Like, I don't want it to look the same as every other movie you've made, though. I want it to be unique and have a feel to it. And no, that doesn't happen. And then we have anime, which, well, the general style is the same going across the different studios and whatever else. The details of the style vary and then give each of the different projects their own feel. So, I love it. I love that. It's so good, and it's so pretty. The quality is fantastic. Yes, I'm aware this came out in like the 90s, but still, even the more modern anime has kind of its own character through the animation. For example, my boyfriend and I are currently watching Mob Psycho. There will be a video when we finish that because it's so good. But anyway, Mob Psycho has a very, very different style of animation to like Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. And Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer have very different styles to each other, and it's wonderful, and I love it. And it makes it so apparent. It's like, this is not the same project as this. Like if someone does a little anime multi-fandom basically and mash a bunch of clips together for a little video, you can tell which project is which because they don't all have the same style. I mean, I can tell Disney ones apart well enough just because there's so much marketing everywhere, so like I know which movies are which. But animation style wise, it's just like, these could just, and basically you could fit this into the same movie. It's the same animation style. Anyway, I'm done ranting about animation. Anime is just beautiful and I love it. And the plot was great. And it was, there was a good amount of dark to it. And having this struggle between, we have the main character, crap, his name. Dang it. That really, really annoys me. It is a longer name, so I'm gonna cut myself some slack. But anyway, the main character is struggling because he's like, oh, the Ironworks people, they're human, they're like me, so I understand them, and I understand where they're coming from. Because they're basically killing this forest outside of their little Ironworks village in order to make the iron so they can support themselves. And they're just like, okay, we have to destroy this forest. But destroying the forest hurts the spirits of the forest. And we have the main character. I hate that I forget his name. Anyway, with the main character going, who has traveled this far to get help from a forest spirit, kind of finds out, oh, the deer god, which I kind of wish the deer god had a little more of a deer face instead of kind of a weird flat human face. But that's my only nitpick about appearance wise things in this. I don't know. I preferred it in like Nightwalker form. Anyway. So he's kind of like, then goes to get help from the deer god, and so then meets San and gets kind of an understanding of the spirits as well. And so then he's kind of struggling with, okay, I can't take a side in this. I understand where both of them are coming from, and I believe that there's some sort of compromise that we can come to. But they're both so against each other, that if I lean towards either side to try and make a compromise, they're going to be like, oh, you're with them, and then the trust is gone, and they're like, okay, you're our enemy now. And so that's a very cool concept and then dynamic going throughout the entire movie, is him trying to figure out, how do I balance this this understanding I have of both of the sides of this, and how do I get this to a point where I can get both sides to come together and make a compromise, so that the spirits can like have their forest back, and they can still make their iron so they can survive and have a livelihood. So that's very fun, and I love that that's kind of this main theme that goes home, kind of carries over through the whole movie. Like, there is a plotline happening, and they're like people after the deer god and whatever else for power, and they think getting the deer god's head will grant immortality, and that's like happening, but it's more in the background, and this main theme and this main thing that's happening throughout the entire movie mainly is this concept of these people being at each other, spirit, like forest spirit and human, and main character trying to figure out how to get them to basically cooperate and coexist throughout the entire thing. And then struggling then with getting San to trust him, because she's like, you're sympathizing with the humans. I hate humans. And yet having this deep kind of sympathy for him, and to the point where she helps him get his, because he gets shot in the back, and it's great. That's another thing. The whole thing with Lady Abisha? Is that what it is? Is that what Ironworks lady is? Abisha? Anyway, but Abisha's whole thing is, I have guns, and I'm developing like better guns, lighter guns, so that I can protect my people and they can protect themselves. And so he's trying to help San escape, because they ambush the Ironworks in an attempt to kill Abisha. And he's like, nope, this is a trap, you're gonna die. So saves her and is like carrying her unconscious body out of the Ironworks, and gets shot through the back. And it goes all the way through, and he just keeps walking and like lifts an entire gate that takes 10 people to lift, and just gets all the way through while bleeding profusely from his stomach. And they get all the way like up a mountain before and San wakes up, and he goes, oh cool, she's awake, I can die now, and just falls off his mount, Jural, or whatever its name is. But anyway, it's great. Gets San out of the Ironworks, gets, her away, get with the wolves leading him, and she wakes up and he goes, cool, falls off of his mount's back, and just is literally dying on the ground. Because his compassion for her and whatever else, this convinces San to help him, so helps him get this wound healed. And so her having this growing compassion for him, despite the I hate humans thing that she keeps up for this whole movie. She's like, I don't trust humans, I can't trust humans, but learning to trust him. It's great. Their little dynamic is great. They definitely build it up as a romance, which makes the ending, I don't know how to feel about the ending. I don't know. Because it ends, but where they're like together but not together, because he ends up going to live with the people at the Ironworks and she stays in the forest. I'm just like, okay, but like, I don't know. My feelings are so unclear. But anyway, yeah. It's just so fun. And I love it. And then we have this whole final battle. So the people that are coming after, because Abisha has made a deal with the Emperor to get the deer god's head. And then the Emperor provides resources and funding and whatever else it supplies so that she can keep up her ironworks. So then his envoy or whatever shows up and goes, hey, you need to make good on your deal. And so they go off basically to war with the forest spirits, specifically the boars, who are really pissed because the boar demon thing from the beginning was kind of one of theirs. And they're like, he turned into a demon and humans killed him. We're here to take back his forest and wipe these humans out. It doesn't go well for the boars, and they have to retreat, and their leader is very injured and now very pissed, and he starts turning into a demon. But San's there trying to like get him to the deer god so that he can be healed. And so she literally gets like caught in all the squirmy wormy things sprouting out of him, and so they're starting to kind of like not differentiate between her body and his, and so she's literally trapped, and they're starting to try and grow out of her, and she's like, no, I am not a demon. And yeah. And then main dude, I will never not be apologizing for the fact that I forgot his name. Gah! Anyway, main guy shows up trying to save her. The mother wolf, can't remember her name either. Anyway, mother wolf lady is also dying because she was wounded. And so then it's like, I guess I'm using the last of my strength to fight off this demon and save my daughter. And so, yay, that all happens. The deer god shows up. They're losing. They're very much losing. He manages to get San free and into the water to protect her. Deer god shows up and just like obliterates everyone infected with the demon stuff, with the demon, which is the main boar, and I think the wolf mother dies as well. And then they cut off deer god's head, which is not a good idea. Deer god goes full feral, most powerful demon ever, goes night walker form, and just starts, which is a cool like giant kind of, it feels weird to call it a jelly monster, but that's what it is. It kind of looks like an amoeba thing that's in the form of kind of a dragony lizard, giant like Godzilla dragon lizard thing, but it's transparent and looks like it's made of blue goop. Anyway, so it just starts like going out looking for its head because the envoy of the emperor ran away with it, and everything that it touches and it goes in its shadow, and the entire forest just withers and dies. And it's so cool. And he just keeps expanding and like goes over the entire forest. The entire forest of the deer god is completely wiped out by the now demonized deer god. And so then San and the prince go after the envoy of the emperor, trying to get the head back. Chase him down, manage to give the deer god's head back, which appeases it. It turns back into more of a benevolent creature and heals the foot, and then literally dies, and its life essence heals the forest, and everything grows back. And then San and the prince separate, and I don't know how to feel about that. But it was such a cool movie, and it was so pretty, and it was a very fun, like, cool fantasy thing. I love, like, all of the different, the forest spirits just being giant animals that can talk. It's great. It was so good, and the dynamic and the struggle with him trying to figure out, how do I make these two sides that have been against each other since the humans got here, how do I get them to compromise? How do I get them to basically figure out how to coexist? And it's fun, and it's great, and the characters are fantastic, and I love it. I love it so much. It's so pretty, and it's so cool. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's so good. It's so good. I don't think I've watched an anime thing yet that I've genuinely disliked. Like, Spirited Away wasn't like my favorite thing ever, and neither was My Neighbor Totoro. They're kind of on the same level. Like, I enjoyed them, but they weren't like an, oh my gosh, I love this so much level. But I didn't like dislike them or anything. They were still good movies. They were just, I don't know, a little more on the stereotypical anime side. Like when someone says, oh, anime, some of the things in that are more what you think of. Or at least that's where my brain went before I started watching Demon Slayer. And then we have Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer and Death Note and this. And I'm obsessed with all of them. So yeah, I haven't really found an anime thing that I genuinely don't like. And that's fine. That's totally fine. I love it. If America can't make a good show, I guess I can just go to Japan. Japan's got me. Japan's got my back. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Princess Mononoke. Feel free to drop yours in the comments along with any suggestions, requests, whatever. Especially for like anime stuff, I'd love to find more good anime stuff because right now I don't know where to look for suggestions on anime stuff. I just sort of flounder until I come across something like, ooh, that looks interesting enough for me to try, and then I try it. So any anime suggestions would also be appreciated. I'll probably look into most, if not all of them. So yeah, and yeah, I post videos on this channel every Wednesday and Saturday, and I post videos on my audiobook channel on Thursdays, and I'll see you guys next time.